Hello, my name is Bill Castle. In the social media realm, I'm better known as Hulk, as in the Incredible Hulk. And it's based upon my 2025 Jeep Wrangler JL that I have themed the Hulk. And we are in process of basically building popularity for my Jeep Hulk for the purpose of doing Jeep fundraisers and charity events and things like that to raise money for good causes. And so that's why, most people in social media, TikTok, Instagram, things like that, better know me better as Hulk. So that's why, my theme and things like that are Hulk. So, but it was just recently suggested to me that I might try my hand at doing some reactions to music. And I think I might go ahead and do that, which is what I'm getting ready to do here. There is a friend of mine that I have developed a good friendship with on TikTok. She goes by SasiXO, and she's a music creator. And she uses AI to generate music. And so, for those people that may have issues or problems with AI generated music, let me give you a little background on Sassy XO. She is a cancer survivor. And prior to her treatments to cancer, or for her cancer, she used to write and sing her own music. But the radiation treatment that she had to go through did something to her vocal cords, and she's no longer allowed or able to sing anymore. And so she still loves music. She loves to be involved with all different types of music. And so for her to be able to continue her passion in music, she turned to AI, and she enjoys doing it. She is very good at it. She is absolutely amazing at it, to be honest with you. And I have grown to really appreciate her music. She puts a lot of effort, a lot of work into it. It isn't something she just pushes a button and lets AI create something. She puts a lot of work and effort into generating this music. Well, a while back, she had, without me knowing, had created a couple of songs about my Jeep and what our purpose and our cause is for our Jeep, and then surprised me with them. And I was so impressed with what she had did that I had decided to ask her if she would be willing to create an entire album for me. And so she did. And the songs that are on this album, she put 13 songs to this album, and they are just absolutely phenomenal. They are all just wonderful songs. And so I'm going to start out with this reaction concept. I've never did this, obviously, so I don't even know if I'm going to do it right or whatever, because this is not really going to be a reaction, because I've listened to these songs many, 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 many times. And so it's not like I'm not reacting to my first time using them like a lot of the traditional reaction videos that you probably are accustomed to. So I think with this one here, and the other ones that I may react to with Sassy and her songs, it's more about me giving some insight into the song, or that's behind the song, because the first one that I'm going to be doing is called I Broke the Chain. And this is a song that she had written and produced based upon information that she had learned from me about me and my life, and things like that, through our many conversations that we have on TikTok and places that we associate together with. And then she asked me for some other bullet point types of information about my life, and so I gave her what she asked for, and she created this song. And this song is very important to me, because I think that she did such an amazing job at encapsulating my life in a song. And so that's why I'm going to take some time here, and I'm going to react to this, and I'm going to kind of just break it down, uh, and kind of explain what the song is talking about as we go along. And so hopefully I do a good job at this. Like I said, I've never did this before, so I'm kind of hoping to do a good job here. But even though this song was written about me in my life, there are millions of people out there that have suffered, or been through a lot of the things that I've been through in my life. And so I'm kind of hoping that maybe, somebody else that may be able to relate to this, it might help them as much as it's helped me, and encourage people. So, um, let's go ahead and get into it. Again, this song is called I Broke the Chain by SasiXO. SasiXO, to find her and her music, she has lots of other types of music as well. Lots of songs about Jeeps, lots of songs about mental health, a lot of songs about cancer. She's an amazing artist, and I would encourage anybody that might be listening to this to go and check her stuff out. She's amazing. And how you spell it is capital S, lowercase a, S, I, capital X, capital O. And you can find her on all of the major music platforms. Just look her up, check some of her stuff out. She's an amazing artist, and she's really, really good at what she does. And so give her a check. Again, this song is called I Broke the Chain, and this is a song that's about my life. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I didn't grow up empty. I grew up broke. There's a difference. And one thing I learned early, a man's name, that's all he really owns.
So right off the bat, she really brought out something that was it's very vital to me in my core. Starts out by saying, I didn't grow up empty. I grew up broke, and there's a difference, and there is. Um, that yeah, I grew up in the United States of America as poor as you could be, in our country. And I say it that way is because I know that there's a lot of places around the world where even the poor people in the United States of America are still in the top 1% of uh, uh, financial ability than compared to the rest of the world. So that's why I say it that way, because I try to make sure that I have everything in proper perspective. But in the United States of America, I grew up as poor as you could be here, and live in this country. So we didn't have much, growing up and things like that. But I didn't grow up empty means that there was still love, right? There was still, at least from my mom, from my grandparents, and things like that. So there was, I may have grew up broke, but I didn't grow up empty. I still had meaning. And so that's what that means. And that part where it says that a man's name is all he really owns is something that my grandfather, Bill Manley, had instilled in me from a very young age. Is how important a man's name is. Right? It's worth more than money, and you can put whatever zeros behind whatever that number you can come up with, and your name is more important than that. And he instilled that in me, and I really grabbed a hold of that concept when I was very young, and even when I was a teenager, out there running around doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, my name was still very important to me. It's like, even as crazy as I'd gotten in my life, I was still never known as a liar or a thief or anything like that. And so, that was important to me. And so she started that song off right off the bat, with something that's very important to me.
Yeah. Lights off, heat low, hunger in the air. Empty plates, cold nights, nobody cared. Mama tried hard, but she got misled. Voices in the house had her lost in her head. Faith got twisted, turned it into control. Left a young boy trying to patch up his soul.
So that was that part of the song is in reference to We had a lot of issues in our childhood. Um, my mom was left with 4 kids. By the time she was 20 years old, she had 4 kids. And she was left on her own to try to figure out what to do with 4 kids at 20 years old. Um, and life back then was a little bit more different than it is today when people are left in those types of circumstances. And I'm not saying it's easy today, but it was much harder back then. And so she ended up, getting married to a couple of men that she shouldn't have gotten married to. And during her third marriage, our second stepdad, it's when she became a Christian. And unfortunately, she'd gotten involved with a denomination that it has been deemed to be an actual cult. And in her defense, you don't know that you're in a cult while you're in it. It isn't until you get out of it that you realize that that's what it was. So that's what it was, and it was a very, very controlling um, Christian denomination called the Independent Fundamental Baptist, and they control their congregation and they use the Bible as a weapon. And so they had given her advice, and my mom was very desperate at the time, and just grasping at straws. And she started becoming a Christian, and she didn't know much about or anything about all that, and so she was relying on the guidance and stuff of her of the pastors and the people and the elders of these churches. And she uh, did things that she wouldn't do today, to us. And so and it was all based upon the guidance of what this church was telling her that she should do, with us, especially in the discipline area. And so that's what that meant is like, she got kind of twisted, and the denomination that she was involved with was really just about utter control. Uh, and so some things went down and some things had happened that she wouldn't do today. But like I said, they preyed upon her desperation of trying to find help and guidance from somebody that wasn't going to hurt her. But she thought she could trust him because they called themselves Christians. So yeah, it was what it was. But nevertheless, I mean, it still had the effects that it had. So.
Years a while, yeah, I ran that road. Self-destruction mode, I was carrying that load. School on pause, life hit fast. 13 years old, trying to outrun my past. Drugs in my blood, alcohol breath. Didn't even know I was dancing with death.
So that's basically leading us into about when I was 13 years old is when my real dad, my real father, had come into our lives. I'd never really met him prior. I was about 12 and a half years old, first time I ever really remember my dad. And life was really tough at the time, real tough. And he had offered for me to be able to come out and live with him where he lived. And even though I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but it was a way out. There was a way out of the life that I was being forced to live at the time. And right after my 13th birthday is when I went to go live with him. And when I went out there, my dad gave me 3 rules. He said, "Go to school, don't bring the cops home, and don't bring a pregnant girl home." Outside of those 3 rules, he did not care what I did. So I hit those streets, and I got involved with a lot of people that was taking me down a lot of paths that I'd never been down before. I didn't have the experience. I wasn't around that kind of stuff ever. So at 13 years old, I started drinking, started doing drugs. I started sleeping with girls, and all that kind of stuff. Just as far off that cliff that I could jump. I mean, I took off running and jumped as far and as hard as I could. And I was definitely, like the song says, I was definitely on a path to destruction. I didn't know where it was going to lead me. So that was a really hard thing right there that she'd put in that song.
But I heard something cut through the noise.
Very important part.
You ain't gotta die where you from, boy. I broke the chain, I changed my name. Not what they call me, what I became. Came from the dirt, now I stand in the flame. I don't just talk it, I live what I claim. Honor on me, integrity strong. Your name's all you got, I carried it on. Built it from nothing, now look what I own. Yeah, I rose up, now I stand full grown. No.
So that's the chorus, and I mean it's I mean it really just speaks for itself that it's just an amazing how she was able to encapsulate where I started and where I've become just in the chorus alone, and that part where at the beginning of where I just started back up was um, I heard something cut through the noise. You ain't got to die where you're from, boy. And somehow, some way, through all of this mayhem that I was engaged in, was one of those types of things where uh, something reached out to me. I actually believe that it was God, allowing me to understand that just because, I'd been through what I'd been through with the abuse from the physical abuse, mental abuse of the stepdads, my mom being, of course, being misled by that church, the church itself, the poverty, all of the stuff that I had been in. Most people, unfortunately, that have come from where I've come from live and die in that same state. But something allowed me to climb up out of that, and um, I'd like to think that I rose above it. In fact, the name of the album that she wrote for me or that she put together for me is called "Rise from the Ashes," and it's absolutely beautiful. And a lot of the songs that's on here that hopefully I might do some reactions to, help understand why this the name of this album is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So let's go ahead and get back into it.
No degrees, no plan in my hand. Just work, boots tied. I became that man. Construction grind, yeah, I laid that base. Built a whole life from grit and faith. Stay 10 toes for my God, my wife, my kids, myself. That's my whole life.
That was one of the things that she had asked me about, and then I explained to her that my life is God, my wife, my kids, and then myself, and it's in that order. And it was important for me. It was important that I explained to her that a lot of people in our culture today, you got to put yourself first. And well, I'm sorry, but I disagree with that 100%. Um, to me, I believe that my faith has to come first. God has to come first and foremost. Second, my wife, not my children. My wife is second in my life, and then my children. And actually, many times I put other things before myself. Other people, um, helping people or doing other types of things. Many times I neglect myself. Maybe it's a Gen X thing. I don't know, but my in my life it is God, my wife, my children. Right? That's the order of my life.
Sun up grind, sundown prayer. Wasn't luck got me here. I met him love. No fear of change, I adapt. I don't stay stuck, I don't move back. Tenacity heavy, yeah, I carry that weight. Every closed door turned into a gate.
So that especially that last part, that many times, especially coming where we come from, and you have no resources, you have no education. In fact, it said there a little while back, it said school on pause. School, I failed the second grade. That was during that period of time. It was really, really bad in our lives with the abuse and stuff. And school, I didn't care about school. Right, I had a lot more other more pressing things to worry about than school. And there's a lot of things, of course, as we all do. Look back. I wish I would have paid more attention in school. It's like for me, I have a pretty good vocabulary, but I can't spell worth a lick. And and so that's that kind of thing. And but it's just the fact that we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay there. We can rise above it. Everybody can, and I'm a prime example. We hear the cliche all the time. Uh, you don't have to, um, you know, let those types of things dictate your life. And I'm a prime example of it. That if I can do it, anybody can do it. So
I broke the chain. I changed my name. Not what they call me, what I became.
So this is a part that actually chokes my son up when he hears it. My son listens to this all the time and stuff. My son's 31, almost 32 years old, and he was the one that pointed out to me about how powerful those words are. I changed my name, not what they call me, but what I became. My last name is Castle. Many people that have ever ran the streets, so to speak, or from the south end of Columbus, is what we call the south end of Columbus, Ohio. The Castle last name is very well known, but not in a good way. Right? My dad's side of the family was wild. I mean, just wild. So there's not much honor, so to speak, that's involved with the last name of Castle that my roots come from. And so when it says, I changed my name, not what they call me, but what I became, is because now one of the things that I take pride in is that both of my kids, especially my son, because he still carries my last name, is that he could be proud of his last name. And I believe that that is a direct result of the direction that I went with my life. Now, obviously, made a lot of mistakes and things like that, but it's still, I was able to rise above the uh, the less than honorable name of Castle and put honor to it, and to where now he's going to be able to take his kids and his children and give them my last name, and they can be proud of that. So that's a very powerful thing. I changed my name, not what they call me, but what I became. Very powerful for me.
Came from the dirt and now stand in the flame. I don't just talk it, I live what I claim. I know me, integrity is strong. Your name's all you got, I carried it on. Built it from nothing, now look what I own. Yeah, I rose up, now staying full grown. Now riding things I pray for at night. Dream home standing where there used to be fight. Nice cars rolling, but that ain't my worth. I ain't defined by what I got on this earth.
It's a very important part of the song as well, is that where it says that I dream house standing where there used to be fight. That is, my wife and I now live in what we consider to be our dream home. It's our forever home. It is no mansion by no stretch of imagination, but it's definitely our castle, and it's a nice house. It's a pretty nice, sizable brick ranch sitting on 3.5 acres with a fishing pond. I can hunt off the backside of my property. It's something that people who come from where I've came from, it's just a dream. Like, this is not something that most of the people that have lived the life that I have lived ever get to achieve, and we've been able to achieve it. But the second part of that hook right there is, it's still not my definition. It's still not what defines me. I have obviously a beautiful Jeep Wrangler. We have new vehicles. We have lots of toys. We have a very nice house. My wife and I both have very nice jobs, those types of things. But that is not what we want our identity to be in. Our identity, we want to be in God, and more specifically in Jesus Christ. So even though that we have all of these things that most people don't have, we feel more fortunate than the average person that does have these types of things, because one, we never thought we would have anything like that we have, and we know that it's all a blessing from God. So but our identity wants to be in God, not in the things that we own. And that was awesome how she put that in there.
Raise my kids, how a man supposed to lead. Truth in they spine, planted that seed. 32.
So if you was to meet my kids, both of them are adults. Both of them are married to really awesome people. And my son Austin and my daughter Christine, uh, if you was to meet them, even when they were younger, the, you would be more than impressed with the type of human beings that they are. Always been very respectful, um, uh, very honorable, and like the teachers and parents of their friends and stuff would come to us all the time and just tell us how impressed that they were with our kids. Like they couldn't believe that they were only the ages that they were, um, and that has to do with how they were raised. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Kelly probably pulled the biggest load on all of that, waiting for me to grow up. But, we both played a role in that. And so that was very important. That's something that I can be proud of, is uh, how respected my children are in the worlds that they operate in.
2 years, she still my queen. Through every 32 years, she still my queen. Through every storm, she my peace.
So that's a very important part as well. Is, in fact, part of the main reason why this song is named "I Broke the Chain" is because I came from a very broken home, not just a divorced mom and dad. I had a total of three stepdads, and didn't even meet my real dad until I was like 12 and a half years old or something like that. So I came from a very broken home. And Kelly and I, my wife Kelly and I, have been married now. We'll celebrate 32 years this year. We started dating when we were 16, got married when I was still 18. And I mean, I had a lot of growing up to do, and I probably didn't really grow up until somewhere in my mid 20s. But she is, and like where it says that 32 years, and she's still my queen through all the storms. She's my peace. There's no truer words. I could not phrase it any better than what she did in this song, what Sassy did in this song.
I get more than I take. That's the measure. Not what you hold, what you give.
I give more than I take. That's the measure. And just to make sure that we're clear on what that means is that we have so many people in this world that are so self-centered that they will not engage with you. They will not give you anything unless they know what they're getting in return. Both Kelly and I, throughout our entire lives, have been the types of people that we give and give and give and never expect anything in return. In fact, most times when people try to give us something in return, it's an absolute hard no for us, because we do not do anything, and we never have. And we've instilled that in our kids as well, is that when you give, you need to give without ever expecting anything in return. And that is how we measure it. That's what it means. Be a giver, not a taker. It's okay to take. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all need stuff, right? We all understand that concept, but you should always give more than you receive. And as long as you do that, you're always going to be on the right side of right.
I changed my name from a broken past to a life reclaimed. Having my focus, not the fame. Everything else just part of the game. On integrity strong. Your name's all you got. I proved them wrong.
I love how she put that in there right there like that. I proved them wrong. Because if you would have known me as a kid, if you would have known me as a teenager, if you would have known me as a young adult, no hope. But I knew me. I knew what I was on the inside. Even though I might have been acting out a certain way on the outside, I knew who I was on the inside. And I knew that that I'm not the type of person I feel like I got to prove anything to anybody. But when I did prove it, I knew. Like how everything has turned out through my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, my relationship with God, first and foremost, that I knew. And I knew that there was a lot of people that never one time gave me a single chance. And I've even had people tell me to my face that there is no hope for me. And the way she put that in the song, that I proved them wrong, was awesome. The way she did that.
Nothing at all to sitting on throne. Only thing that could stop me was me alone. This ain't luck. This is discipline. This is faith. This is legacy.
So yeah, so at the very end there where it says this is legacy, it's something that I didn't even know what that meant, growing up. But legacy is what do people remember when it's your time to go? After you're gone off this earth and your name comes up, or something brings your memory to somebody, what's their thoughts? Whatever that is your legacy. That is what that means. So that's important to me. And we're in control of that. And it's about having the integrity. It's about having the tenacity and all those types of things that goes along with that. And you live in your everyday life according to that kind of stuff. And so this song is very important to me. I hope that you will go back and you will listen to the whole song in its entirety. I know I stopped and started, but this is an amazing song. And I hope that if you can relate to the snippets of my story that I was just sharing, that you go back and you listen to this. And I hope that it touches you in the same way that it touches me. So I hope that I did this the right way. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it all pans out. And the next ones I go do will probably be a lot less time consuming than this. But this is my first time doing it, and this is one of the most important songs that I've actually ever heard. For me, and so that's why it's taken so long for me to get through this. So I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments. I will post a link to this song and to SasiXO in at the bottom. And so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it helpful. Thanks. Hawk out.